I also don't subscribe to full transubstantiation, which, in my understanding and my research, the extreme is they believe the physical matter of the bread turns into the body of Christ. Is that your understanding as well? Or do you have more drawn back where it is the body of Christ, not to say that it's literally changing form as you eat on it?
My understanding is that what they say is the accents don't change, but the substance changes. And in other words, it tastes like bread, it looks like bread, but it's not bread.
Right.
Like it's flesh, but because obviously no one's claiming when you put it in your mouth.
Right, you're eating cannibalism, right? No, but that
So
was
yes, I would agree. That's my understanding of it too.
okay. So though that some of the early church fathers were accused of cannibalism, the way that they talked about the blood and the body of Christ, because people coming in didn't understand it. I mean, it was when you
Right.
think about the language without context, like we're gonna
Yeah.
drink his blood. When you come in with no context, that's a pretty heavy. But that's what I love about Jesus is he especially with the Greek culture that didn't believe in resurrection. I can only imagine, like, they
Right.
believed in like this Epicureanism, like this spiritual rehabilitation type of afterlife. I could only imagine what they're doing in these churches where they're like, time out,
Yeah.
we're drinking of the
Yep.
same cup with blood in it. Like, wait a second, where's this blood coming from?
Yep.
So I would say this, that I would be a hybrid, and not just, it probably leaning more towards the transubstantiation side, which I mean, this is I grew up, and again, a lot of it is so subjective to my understanding within my worldview, but I could not take communion as a kid until I could explain it.
Hmm.
And so, when I think about my standard today, I have my 9-year-old take it, and I don't think he could explain it the way I did. So I don't think I took communion until I was 13 years old for the first time.
Hmm.
And I remember my dad like sitting me down in his living room, and I had to explain the constructs of what I was doing. And so I would go to this. So I am a huge believer of communion, but I have a lot of little nuances that I'll share. So I'll start with this core issue. I believe that when you study the early church from an Acts point of view, that one of the fundamental core things that is in the middle of every service is the table. I
Yep.
believe that even more than preaching, the church was built around the Eucharist. So I'm a believer that the Eucharist should be offered every Sunday, at the very least. And so I tried to subscribe to that. It's less to God bending to us and more to us rising to the risen King when it comes to the Eucharist. So going back to like the baptism sacrament, is we're not crucifying Jesus every time we take the body and the blood. It's already been done, but it's also not just doing it in remembrance. It's this whole issue of every time we feed on him, we are acknowledging we need his power to become that new creation.
Yeah.
So if you imagine it, I guess this would be a good way for me to explain kind of what I'm saying is the baptism is like an engine overhaul, right? It's like
Yeah.
replacing the engine in the car. And the oil is communion. It's that daily feeding on